One South County Tipperary man, it all began with a spark of an idea which ignited in the back lanes of Carrick-on-Shore where I'm standing. That began with a bus journey in 1946, a trip just down the road to Waterford City. But that led to an odyssey, a journey of a lifetime, you might say, across various continents and then right back home again to Carrick.
I am of the lanes, my people lane people, lapfuls of children through line flap of summers, elbowed in suds, in a washboard of days, candle stub autumns, dry wicks of winter, sooting the glass of their hours in the straw.
I think that's probably another prevailing memory, the idea of being cold, shivering and very cold. And I think in particular, damp too, if you know what I mean by damp, cold. And certainly going to school on a snowy morning in the frost without any shoes was an experience that one would never forget. And there was no way of warming it up.
For Jack Ryan, growing up in the lanes of Carrick-on-Shore, childhood was one of abject poverty, leading to joy in all things simple, precious and magical. The broken place of childhood, as Jack has so lovingly chronicled in the book he's written. His story of the University of Life, his travels from Carrick, seeing the world, and his memories of childhood come alive in the broken place.
I remember being taken after First Holy Communion with a new pair of sandals on, taken by the nuns who shepherded us down to the convent, and where they'd laid up the breakfast for all of the children. And to have a whole egg, I mean, it must sound rather stupid now, but to actually have a whole egg and 2 whole slices of bread and butter and a clean cup with tea in it, you know, and the big nun with an apron, you know, with a great jug coming round to give you more. They were special.
Half a pig's head was in the centre of the table. His grandmother was hacking at its snout, slicing off a portion of its ear and passing great greasy lumps among the astonished faces around the table. His mother tried to lead the assault by grasping a lump and sucking it between her teeth. Madge said it was disgusting, and the children looked at her in great admiration.
I remember, for instance, as a child working in a little shop in the main street, and on Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, I'd have to scrub the shop out, you know, and that was something about that, actually working one's way out through the shop to the main street without any shoes on.
Jack quickly found his feet, and after taking the cattle boat to England at the tender age of 14, he worked his way around the world as a boy on the merchant fleet. He then swapped the expanse of the sea for the wilds of America, where he became a cowboy on the plains of Montana, thus fulfilling a dream born in films he used to watch in the picture house in Carrick. After a few years, Jack sold his saddle and returned to London, where he was seduced by the lure of airplanes, and by chance got a job interview to become a steward at British European Airways.
But I remember the catering manager of British Airways saying to me during the interview, I see you've been a cowboy, Mr. Ryan. He said, on my CV, you know. He said, do you think that that is the sort of qualification that you might need to become a steward? I mean, rounding up cattle and that sort of thing? And then he said, oh, no, you don't have to answer that. I can see the connection, he said.
After founding the Professional Association of Airline Stewards and Stewardesses, Jack then went on to study in Oxford, where he was conferred with a degree in English literature, before returning to be amongst his own, including his mother of 96.
Oh God, yes, we're up to our knees in it, in the water, getting out of the house, in the floods.
I think there's something about being a Carrick man, that the salmon over the town clock talks about. The idea that, and I think this is for all Irish people abroad, wherever they are in the world, they always get that, seems to me, I certainly did, and those whom I've talked to seem to get it, that sense that they want to get back to where they were somehow, where they belong.
When the sunshine of childhood broke upon their dreaming, the river drew them like an old god calling. In that throb of life, the boys sometimes burst from the lanes at a herding gallop, bursting in every direction to wander and explore. I sometimes see a figure on the road, bent under a breastnee, with fire enough to wet the sup of tea, dry a pair of socks, light the fading glimmer of his days. And then I know, deep in the whitewash of the heart, that they are there still there, whispering, I am of the lanes, my people, lane people.